Hey, it's been a while since I've done one of these check-in videos, and I got a couple emails I was responding to, and I figured I'd create a video real quick, just checking in on kind of author MacBride and what I'm doing, I guess. One of the questions that I get all the time and was in my email was asking essentially the status of projects. What am I working on right now? And I like that kind of question because it makes me reflect on the different projects I kind of have. And sometimes, one that I've kind of forgotten about comes to mind, and then it becomes more urgent or interesting. But number one at the top of my list really is the screenplay that I've mentioned a couple of times about a train robbery and then a prison break. And that continues to chug along, continues to get closer to fruition, which is exciting. In fact, in March, there's going to be a read aloud with some actors. And other than my audiobooks, that'll be the first time I've ever heard a work read aloud. Certainly the first time I ever heard anything acted by a cast of people like that. And this is a project I'm collaborating with somebody, so I'm not the sole author. Chris and I have done the writing, and it'll be fun to see what it actually sounds like in a room. Otherwise, I do have a novel to come out later this year, probably in the fall, called At the Wake. It's a book that I've talked about a number of times, a multi-generational family drama, I guess. And yeah, it was something I've started working on in the 90s, and really only got to the point of being happy with it in the last year. And I'm making a couple final revisions before I finish the layout and that kind of thing. So that'll be fun. Um, Otherwise, Salty Books continues to grow, and that's a wonderful thing that I love. Just being able to work with other authors and help them get their books into the world, and planning events and that kind of thing. So it's fun to be an author, but also help other people do that as well. And I'm in the process of reading a couple manuscripts that came my way for consideration. So we'll see what comes of those. Um, the other question was about any events coming up. I don't have any lined up yet. Probably when I get closer with At the Wake, I'll start piecing some together. In my work as Salty Books, I'm setting up events for people like Karen Engstrom and Bill Dyer, and I'm doing some of those things. So you might see me there interviewing them or at their readings. But in terms of like actually doing my own work, probably not until the fall. Maybe in Michigan in the summer. I'm not sure. Again, I need to nail down the final pieces. Um, I had somebody ask me about the gay cartoonist project, which it continues to chug along. I keep running into roadblocks where, unfortunately, somebody I thought would be very easy to find information about um, is wildly elusive, and so it's fun trying to chase down those dead ends as much as it is frustrating. I love that challenge, and so I'm making lots of different connections with people online and in different cities as I try to find pieces. And I don't know. I'm sorry. I'll keep working on it. It's definitely one that I is also pretty urgent in my list. There's also my great great grandfather book. That one honestly is kind of on the back burner. I've collected a number of stories and a lot of information. I haven't actually started writing anything. I have a title which was given to me by a cousin that I love, and both the cousin and the title for that matter. And yeah, that's still there. I haven't forgotten about it. And there's also Bill the Car Salesman book, which I kind of stopped at around 65,000 words. And if you don't know, last year and this year really was full of a lot of loss for my family and friends. And the Car Salesman book dealt with loss, but I wrote it really before I had gone through this period of grieving and mourning. And it I think it still holds up, but I want to go back and revisit that. So that probably is not going to be something that comes out before 2027. Um, but yeah, the screenplay, At the Wake, and the nonfiction kind of have my interest. We'll see. So And then, yeah, I had one person ask about the podcast, and um, I have two podcasts, really. I mean, one I'm the host and producer for, which is the Veritas Views, the one that I do with my wife Gail MacBride and Dan Kessler from Veritas Psychology Partners, and that's the one that has most of my attention. It requires, as a host and producer, I come up with the questions, I ask them, I host the podcast, I edit it, I make the audio version of it, and do all the editing we need to of the video and the audio, and making it appear magically on the different platforms. And so that, honestly, it's taken more of my energy. My other podcast, really the unsolicited book reviews, for the most part, that podcast was a way of kind of collecting reviews I had done of books, and I continue to do those unsolicited book reviews on Tuesday, and share them on the different social media platforms. Um, but yeah, I've kind of fallen behind on doing any of the podcast version that collects those reviews. I'll probably get together enough time to string some of those together. But it's really taking down the social media and detaching the audio, cleaning the audio up, stringing them together with a little connective tissue. And sometimes it just takes more brain power than I have the energy or time for. So I haven't forgotten. It's still there. Um, I don't know. Sorry. If you are an active listener of that, I apologize. You can still get the reviews, obviously, on other social media platforms. Um, in some ways, that podcast was kind of an experiment to figure out how that works, in order to be able to do the Veritas Views one instead. So, but it's good to know there's still some fans out there and a demand. I'll get those out there. I do promise at some point. So. But yeah, thanks for asking. If you have any other questions, send them my way. If you're interested in submitting books for consideration for Salty Books, the webpage is saltybookspub.com. Obviously, my webpage is michaelmcbride.com. And yeah, thanks for asking. Have a good one.